Welcome to GameSpot Live. I'm Greg Kasavin, here to tell you all about EverQuest Online Adventures for the PS2. There's a good chance you've heard of EverQuest before. The game originally came out on the PC in 1999 and has been extremely successful ever since then. It's got hundreds of thousands of players playing it for hours and hours on end. Who knows how many millions of hours of gameplay have gone into EverQuest during all these years, and unsurprisingly, the company's now trying to bring that success over to the PS2, over to a broader audience, and onto consoles from the PC. EverQuest was always a pretty hardcore game, and with EverQuest Online Adventures, the company's definitely trying to kind of bring it to the masses, simplify it, distill it down to the essential kind of addictive gameplay that has made EverQuest so popular for all these years. The game meets with mixed success, really. On the one hand, if you've never played a massively multiplayer online RPG before, then EverQuest Online Adventures might really impress you. It could be quite a trip, really, just to be running around and knowing that all the other kind of trolls and elves and dwarves and such running around with you are being controlled by other players, and going on various hunting expeditions with several of your buddies or with complete strangers can be really entertaining in the same way that any multiplayer game can be entertaining, really. Plus, the core combat in EverQuest Online Adventures is still pretty fun. It's very kind of hack and slash. You take down enemies quickly, and you can quickly recover and start fighting more, and soon enough you're gaining levels and gaining new and better equipment. So the game can be addicting in the same way that a lot of RPGs are addicting. On the other hand, EverQuest Online Adventures definitely isn't newbie friendly, and definitely doesn't lend itself to kind of quick or casual game sessions. Much like its predecessor for the PC, you really need to hunker down in order to get anywhere with this game. Just getting started, just the time it takes between powering on your PS2 and actually seeing your character in the game, it takes several minutes between you sitting through multiple loading screens and various updates and kind of news flashes and choosing your server and, accepting the mandatory end-user licensing agreement every single time you play. Stuff like this kind of wears down the experience and makes it very time-consuming. One of the other things that made EverQuest, the original PC game, a big success early on was that it looked so incredible. People just wanted to see everything in this game. They wanted to, be an ugly troll or a small halfling or an elf or whatever and run around and see dragons and all kinds of weird kind of fantasy conventions that this game really brought to life. That aspect of EverQuest Online Adventures is inherently less appealing because the game really doesn't look very good. It looks pretty mediocre, really. A lot of the character models are a little bit ugly, dare I say it, and a lot of the environments are just kind of sparsely detailed and just kind of sprawling. You could just be running around through terrain that just all kind of looks the same. So the sense of, being a pioneer and seeing things that no one else has seen before isn't very pervasive in EverQuest Online Adventures because nothing about the game is all that attractive. But it's still serviceable, and the game sounds pretty good too, although you're probably going to want to have a CD changer in the room where you happen to be playing the game. Make no mistake, the gameplay consists entirely of killing stuff, either by yourself or with others. It's just hack and slash, fighting enemies at or slightly higher, slightly lower than your level, and gaining experience points and leveling up. That very core type of gameplay. The original EverQuest had more to it than that. It had trade skills. You could make armor or bake various foods and brew beverages and stuff like that. You could also engage in player versus player action and either fight other players in designated areas or play on dedicated PvP servers. Unfortunately, EverQuest Online Adventures has none of that. It doesn't have PvP. It doesn't have trade skills. It's all about cooperating with others to kill these computer-controlled monsters. There's no real plot, no real ultimate goal. You're just gaining levels and improving your character. That's really kind of a crass way of putting it. It can be a lot more fun than that, but even if you really like the game, you'll find yourself wondering whether all the time that you have to invest into this game is really paying off, since there's no obvious sense of development. One problem with the original EverQuest that's carried into EverQuest Online Adventures is the fact that the very first decision you make in the game is by far the most important decision that you'll make over the who knows how many hours you'll then spend with that character. And that's the fact that the combination of character race and character class that you choose right at first is going to be what governs the gameplay experience from there out. So if you choose to play as a warrior, you will be stuck doing warrior-like things thereafter, and maybe that's obvious, but of course there's no real way of knowing what the difference between a necromancer and a shadow knight, or the difference between a shaman and a druid is, until after you've played these races and classes for a long time and really figured out some of their nuances. But of course by then there's no turning back. The fact that the classes aren't 100% self-reliant is what makes you want to group up with other players in the game. Of course, communication with other players is made rather difficult using just the DualShock 2 controller, although the designers did try to map a bunch of common chat macros onto the shoulder buttons. Still, there's just no way to use these efficiently in the middle of a fight, especially. So you could just plug in a USB keyboard and type away and try to socialize, but don't go in, trying to make it the Renaissance Fair and using a lot of these and thous and trying to act in character, because you'll quickly find that most other players are very much concerned with, where their next kill is. It's again, just the fact that you don't have any trade skills or any other real gameplay aside from killing of monsters really contributes to the sense that, you want to streamline communications and just spend all your time as efficiently as possible on killing stuff. I don't mean to speak ill of the experience of playing EverQuest Online Adventures. I actually think it's pretty fun, and I've been playing games like this for years because I think they're really fun, and it's enjoyable to level up your character and be able to show off your fancy sword to all the others around you and stuff like that. But EverQuest Online Adventures definitely isn't a game for everyone. It's expensive. You have to pay a $10 monthly fee after your 30-day, quote, free trial is up. And of course the game costs a full, $50 at retail, and you need your PS2 network adapter to play it, and it just takes up a lot of your time, and 3 megs on your memory card, all kinds of stuff. Be prepared to really commit yourself to this game. You can really tell that EverQuest Online Adventures is like a stripped down and distilled version of the original game, if you've experienced the original game before. But it's ironic that really the resulting game is still going to appeal to those who've been playing massively multiplayer online RPGs for a while now, rather than people who've never experienced these games before. If you've never played a game like this before, or never been interested in them, then this game isn't likely to change your mind. It can still be quite boring, it's not particularly attractive, and it's just overly time-consuming for most people. But if you have enjoyed other online RPGs before, then you'll find a great big world in this one, and a lot to see and a lot to fight, and a lot of different characters to try out. So if you're willing to make the commitment, then you do well to give EverQuest Online Adventures a shot.